So I built Call Guard. It was a really intense Christmas for me last year, where I had been thinking about this idea. We knew we wanted to do it, and as per usual, I couldn't help myself. And so we started connecting with AI and voice, and I started coding and connecting that to our infrastructure, and playing around with it, just like, can it detect the weather? Can it talk to me? And started building a relationship. When I got it to actually engage with me well, I started sketching out the infrastructure. How do you do this securely and safely? And we built out the AI infrastructure within Cloaked.
It starts out with simple questions, and then depending on those answers, progresses from there and gets more complex and in what it's asking and how it's analyzing the response from people.
Ultimately, our heuristic was that we wanted to make sure that first and foremost, legitimate calls make it through to the end user, and then second most important, we block spam phone calls. Like, it's better to let a spam phone call through than it is to block a call from your mom.
Screening is not just a binary option if it's a scam or not. If you are trying to sell something on Craigslist, if you're trying to go ahead and buy a house, you're in the middle of some complex thing, or you run a small business, you do expect calls coming to you nonstop. So imagine your agent moving from just stopping scam to understanding the intent and making it smarter based on what you want it to do.
And so we've tried to focus just on making sure that we let legitimate calls through, then block spam phone calls, and then everything else in the rest of the app to make sure that you can go in and see see what calls you've gotten and what voicemails.
I think the other thing we try to do with it as well is make it behave like a person does when they answer the phone, not like an answering service. So when you call, or when you call it and it answers, it effectively answers the same way a human does. It's like, hello, and then waits for a response based on that. And then, you can definitely tell a lot in that instance if it's a spam or not, because they won't respond like a real person would respond to first answering a phone call.
It turns out that all these different carriers have these very old arcane systems. Telephone systems have been around since the early 1900s, I think. And a lot of the logic and how they work, it's like either it's fully analog, or it's based on really, really simple but hard to work with the system.
This thing that we rely on so much, but yet it kind of behaves very weirdly, and there's nuance between carriers too, which is very challenging.
And we learn a lot of data from it. We customers reporting and sharing that a third of the calls are Medicare scams. We've learned that we have the AI talking to now AI. So it's been a really cool process of trying to be disciplined on iterating and getting better. We learned from mistakes when CallGuard was blocking Uber drivers or the DoorDash food deliveries. So we got it to be much smarter and says, hey, if it's food, make sure the call gets through.
It was a really interesting project to be able to be a part of, and a really fun and rewarding thing. But it was this kind of complicated Tetris of figuring out how to fit one piece in and fit another piece in so that they all could work together.
This is where I think the next wave of evolution is, can CallGuard be personal to you, can help you do better. It can do the jobs that you want it to do versus just keeping you safe. Can it make you safe and smarter? And I think that applies to the whole Guard suite. We're super excited to kind of the next stage.